The Rideshare Hub. Every other rideshare channel just isn't as cool as ours is. Yeah. That's right, I'm Jacob Letman. You're here with me on the Rideshare Hub channel. And before we get this thing started, if you haven't started driving with Uber or Lyft yet, well, now is your chance. You can jump down into the description below. You'll find some links there for Uber and Lyft. Click those, sign up, get sign-on bonuses, start driving today and making that money. All right. I've started driving. Good for you. I got some tips and tricks coming at you today that I think you'll find interesting. And before we get started with that, if you haven't subscribed to our channel, well, there is no reason not to. Get updates when we come out with new videos and awesome information. And the reason that we do this is because we want you to make the most amount of money driving for rideshare in the least amount of time possible. We want you to be effective and efficient drivers. And that is our goal. And that's why we have these videos. And so take away what you will. And if it doesn't work for you, that's okay too. All right, let's kick this thing off. So I tried to come up with 5 tips and tricks, but I only came up with 4. But they're really good, so let me bring them at you. Number 1, use destination mode to your advantage. Let's say that you have another job and you just drive part-time. That's cool. Well, what you can do is in the morning on your commute to work, let's say, instead of sitting there in traffic, watching everybody in the carpool lane zoom by you, unless you're in California and nobody zooms anywhere, use destination mode, pick up a ride, leave a little bit earlier, turn on destination mode, get a ride going in your direction, and then you can hop in the carpool lane. I had a buddy who had to do some training for a couple of months, and he had to commute like an hour and a half in traffic. And so I told him, like, dude, just sign up, use destination mode, and he did. And then, you know what? He's making extra money, and he gets there quicker. So, win-win. Number 2, yes. If you're going to an event, like a sporting event or a concert, drive afterwards, if you haven't been drinking, that is. If you haven't been drinking and you're going to a sporting event and you drove alone, sign on afterward, because odds are it's going to be surging. It most definitely will be surging, so you make more money, and it's already going to be busy in the parking lot, so you're not going to get out of there quickly anyway. It's a great way to make some extra money. Ooh, yeah, this is a good one. Number 3, understanding cancellations and making them work for you. So with Lyft, for example, once you arrive at your destination, there's a timer for 5 minutes for your passenger to show up, and if they don't after that time, you can mark them as a no-show. But in order to receive the cancellation fee of $5 for standard rides, you have to first give the passenger a call. So here are a couple instances where I made that work to my advantage. It wasn't taking advantage of them, it's more knowing the rules and how to take care of yourself. So one time it was rush hour. I was at a college. I was supposed to pick someone up, and I waited. She wasn't there. I gave her a call. I usually give the passenger a call with like 30 seconds left on the clock. So I did that, and she was on the other side of the school, and she wasn't very nice about it. I said, look, I just went to where the pin was dropped, and you're not here. And she's like, well, will you come to the other side of the school? And I was like, no, I'm sorry, but I won't. So I hung up. The time ran out. Said she was a no-show because technically she wasn't where the pin was dropped. It's not my fault. And your time is valuable, is what I'm trying to say. Our time is valuable as drivers. So another instance of where that happened really quick, I was driving on a Friday night. It was like 2 a.m. I went to this house to pick someone up, waited, the timer ran out. I called, and someone picked up. It sounded like a party in the background. It was a guy, and the ride was for a girl. And he was like, oh, yeah, we'll get her out there, blah, blah, blah. And he hung up, and afterwards I waited about 30 seconds, marked the passenger as a no-show, and took off. Because, I didn't really want to give that ride. drunk people, middle of the night. But they still weren't there. Also, they weren't there, right? And so the time ran out, and I called. So know how to use that to your advantage. Okay, number 4. Oh yeah, this is a good one too. All right, first of all, if you get a ride request and it is it's a long way away mileage-wise or time-wise, scrap it. Don't do it. It's not worth it. Too many times I've been like, oh, okay, I'll drive that far, and then it's a really short ride. So forget that. Don't do that. But here's what I'm going to say. Here's a tip. Deny ride requests to your advantage. So, for example, there's a big golf tournament in Phoenix every year called the Waste Management Open, and afterward it surges like crazy. And so it'll show you, right, what it's surging up to. And so what I would do is I would hang out in the area and I would just deny requests, decline, until I got a request that I saw was at like 250% surcharge. So I would wait and I would just decline, and then I would wait until I got that big one. Might as well, right? Because now there's not really any advantage to having a good ride request rate. So make it work for you. All right, you guys, if there's any tips and tricks that I forgot about that you veteran drivers out there care to share with us, always love to hear the information that everyone has. So drop down into the comment section below. Get at us with that. Again, I am Jacob Letman. Find me on Instagram at jacob.letman. Follow the Rideshare Hub on Instagram at Rideshare Hub. Drive safe, be merry, make money, all that good stuff. Until next time, guys, take care.